What is up? Welcome to Talking Touchdowns, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined once again by Tyler Hicks and Titletown. And gentlemen, the NFL delivers once again. Another exciting week. Football, man, I had so much fun enjoying that. And even the Sunday night game, which looked like might have been a stinker, ended up being pretty darn good. Title, thoughts with you, overall thoughts on yesterday's slate before we dive in game by game?
It was fine. When you ask me that question, my immediate thoughts always go to how did I do? Because at the end of the day, every single game could be awful. My pockets are heavier. That's all good with me. I feel like I ran pretty bad at the end. I was chilling most of the day in cash. I had a lot of 405 guys, and they pretty much all busted. So. Yep. That was a little unfortunate. Tournaments. I had a good tournament team. I took second, 0.2 away from first place. So a little $8,000 there. But the thing is, you win that tournament, still down on the day because of cash games. So tournament helped me out a little bit for not being an awful week. Wish Romeo Dubs got me another catcher. A little 0.2 was first place was $15K, second was $8,000. So they're also top heavy. You need first place, but hey. Decided to dive in. I love always talking about like we talk about on this show. It's the only show we really go back to see what happened, whereas we're always looking forward for NBA rundown, for all the NFL shows, looking forward to next week and the next game. So excited to dive in, talk about it.
Yeah, and Tyler, we've been doing absolutely fantastic with the new NFL Bets Playbook available on the Run Pure Bets website. But yesterday, we're going to have to retool that a little bit. Wasn't the best showing for some of our projections. What were your overall takeaways before we go game by game?
Yeah, I was asleep by 4:00 yesterday. I didn't even watch the main event. I should have went 4-1 yesterday, but we could boohoo cry about it. I had Kirk touchdown, Jags win. Matt Ryan throws a Hail Mary touchdown with 20 seconds left to beat me. I had Leonard Fournette touchdown, Bucks win. They can't beat a beat up Steelers team. And then I had Daniel Jones to throw an interception. He throws it. It gets called back on pass interference. So I went to bed, didn't even watch the Buffalo-Kansas City game. Rough day for me.
Yeah, it was rough for us too. And some of my projections didn't come out as good. So, of course, we will be adjusting those and then talking about that on Friday. And we'll kind of let you guys know. But, hey, you'll get a little peek behind the curtain here because we'll talk about some of these games right now and what adjustments we're going to be making when we rerun the numbers either Tuesday or Wednesday. The first one let's talk about, boy, it's like 1993 for me all over again when all those awesome hip hop albums, and we're like, New York is back. You thought West Coast rap was taking over. New York is back. They dropped a bunch of bangers. Now it's 2022 for the New York NFL teams as the New York Giants improved to 4-1 with a 24-20 win over the Baltimore Ravens. Not shocked that they cover the spread. I was a little shocked that they won outright there. Brian Dable is doing something right with these Giants. We're going to give credit to the Giants, and I think that's fine. We kind of probably had them undervalued, but we wanted to see it from them. Now we've seen it. I'm kind of fine with how we projected the Giants so far. What I'm confused about is what to make of the Ravens. Do we downgrade them? What did you see in that game, Title? Because I'll be honest, I'm like, okay, we wanted to see it from the Giants. Now I'll upgrade them, and I feel fine. Because I didn't want to overreact to just, a nice little 4-game stretch. I can believe in the Giants now, but I don't know what to make of this Ravens team. I mean, they look great. They look like they were completely in control. I even thought they were going to cover in the third quarter. What did you think?
Yeah, they need to get Bateman back. He didn't play. That's a big thing. We have Dobbins. He goes down, so that's a big thing as well.
But on the other side, they don't have any wide receivers on the Giants either.
I was going to get to that too. You told me to talk about Baltimore first. That's a crazy part. No, but you're absolutely right. Kenyon Drake, though, what did stand out in this game? He looked like a stud. He looks very explosive. Went 10 for 106 or 10 for 119 with the touchdown. He's something I'm going to keep an eye on because if Dobbins, this morning went to the gym, got back, haven't looked at all the injury stuff and any reports that have came out throughout the weekend. But if he's missing a significant amount of time, Kenyon Drake is someone I'm keeping my eye on because running backs do well with Lamar because of his threat. You always get the holes. The DN has to sit on the read options, and he looked really good to me. So that's the one thing I'm going to take out of this for DFS wise. It's the Baltimore Ravens. It's Lamar Jackson. solid coach. They got a defense. I think they're going to be there when it's all said and done, come playoff time, be in close games. Like if right now, if I had to buy stock on the Giants or the Ravens, who's going to get farther? I mean, it's still the Ravens for me. Good win for the Giants. They got a lot going. I mean, the home field, Dable's coached very, very well. Danny Dimes, 19 for 27. No interceptions, unfortunately, for Tyler. He had one call back. That's brutal. Probably would have changed the game as well. Saquon did his thing. I just how can I expect this Giants team to keep winning when you mentioned the wide receivers. Bellinger, your leading receiver, 5 for 38, 3 for 37, 2 for 25. I don't know. How can you trust this team to keep going with this wide receiver core out there with Danny Dimes back there? Defense plays well. They have Saquon, but man, I think they're still performing over their heads. So that's my thoughts on it. It's still Ravens for me long term, but great win for the Giants to just keep getting the job done.
Tyler, when I ask you tomorrow what we should do with the Ravens on this power ranking, what's going to be your answer?
Not moving much because the team with the horseshoe stuck up their ass so far, it's poking out their nose. Beat them. You keep talking about we got to give the credits to the Giants, we this. I'm not in that we because I still don't think this team's good. They could finish the year 16-1. I still don't think they'd be good. I don't believe that 2 little coaching changes made this roster flip a 180 to where they're now 5-1. Just like Title said, I think they're playing over their head. I just don't know how they're winning games. They lucked into 2 Lamar interceptions late and a fumble that won them the game. So it's these things can't keep happening week by week. Eventually, they're going to turn for them. This team's not good. I don't care what the record says. They suck. They have one player.
Coming with a strong take.
They legit have one player.
And that's why I love doing this show, right? You guys may be tempering me and saying I'm being a little too, what's that called? Being too results oriented and not looking at the process. Another game with some great results. The Cincinnati Bengals head back. Joe Burrow heading back to do some old magic in his old stadium there, right? 30-26 win over the New Orleans Saints. Hey, maybe I'm just a little too nice. I don't necessarily want to downgrade the Saints. That was just amazing what those 2 guys were able to pull off, and that's why they were able to make that run last season. I mean, some of those plays, Jamar Chase, he's catching the ball 3-4 yards behind the first down line. 3 guys in front of him, he still gets the first down. They're bracketing him. He's still getting open for first down receptions there. Chase and Burrow look great, and if you give these guys time, they're going to get it done. He has too many weapons. I'm not really too high on Zach Taylor. I almost think that he's kind of holding them back. They run almost like the same play almost every time. It seems like, especially coming from watching that Giants game at the same time. Just one team looks like they're doing everything they can to maximize it. The other guy looks like, they have the old Tecmo Bowl offense where they're choosing between 4 different plays. But regardless, we have to give the Bengals credit. Title, what were your takeaways from that game?
Yeah, Jamar Chase, he was on one of my best lineups. That was nice. I mean, without Marshawn Lattimore for the Saints, I mean, Chase was in just such a smash spot. It felt nice that he finally got there. It was nice to see for the Bengals T. Higgins return, so he didn't miss any time. It's still, I mean, this Bengals team concerns me, just the running game. They just cannot establish anything on the ground. The offensive line is still a concern. Their defense, I'm not very impressed with their defense. I mean, the Saints team, Andy Dalton back there. Look, you're talking about the Giants receivers and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, come over to these Saints wide receivers. No Jarvis, no Olave. And Bengals should have won that game, and it was a very close game. They needed Chase. They needed Burrow to do what they do. I was all over the Bengals last year. I mean, they were the dark horse. They were my pick to win the Super Bowl. Tyler gave out the dark horse as well. We had a good show there. But, man, I'm not as high on this Bengals team this year. They were clicking. Everything was clicking at the right time, I thought, last year, and the number was wide and all that. I definitely have concerns this year.
My thing is, if they get that line fixed, if the line does come together, it seems like it could click again. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, maybe if the line comes together and the defense wakes up, because if you're going to let the Saints score 26 and some guy named Rashid Shaheed's going to be running touchdowns on you, when the fantasy app lists him as an unknown player because they don't even know who he is. So it's the defense has got to step up before the offensive line does. The weapons are there, but T. Higgins is already banged up. Hurst came in with a questionable tag, but he still played. And it's just you look around the AFC, I think these other teams at the top are a lot better. Last year, it was just KC and Buffalo. You got a couple other teams in there that can knock Cincy out this year, so I don't see it happening this year.
Rashid Shaheed sounds like a guy that would have been on that old TV show, A Different World. And I know that you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but maybe a couple of people in the chat will get a chuckle off that. So you guys weren't impressed with the Bengals shutting down my guy, the Cajun Carrot, Andy Dalton, huh?
No, not at all.
Who's better? Who's better, Andy Dalton or Jimmy G?
Oh my gosh, I knew this was going to come to this. What a rough day for me. We'll get into that one right now. All right, Tyler, we'll skip around. That wasn't the order that I had it. But, boy, I even sent a message to Tyler. This was going to be a tough show for me because it was not a good day to be a Jimmy G truther. That was one of the worst performances. And I was big on the 49ers, and I hate that I bet it early. And I told myself I'm not going to bet stuff early this year because once Bosa was out, I was not liking the bet, but I didn't want to get in there with the possible Polish middle. At 14-all, I thought, okay, they got some momentum. They'll wake up and they'll take it back. But we didn't see anything at all. Overall, this team, though, was missing, I think, at one point of the game, 11 of their 22 starters from week one. Almost like an NBA game to me where they're just like, anybody that's kind of hurt, sit out. It almost felt like they punted on the game, maybe give some of their backups some experience. It's interesting that Shanahan would do that, though, because this NFC is wide open. You had a chance to make a push, and you didn't take advantage of it. I'm here. I'm ready to take my beatings. Jimmy G looked terrible. We'll start with you, Title. Give me a couple uppercuts for supporting that good-looking, handsome, and unable to throw the ball more than 10 yards type of guy.
No, I'm not going to kick anyone when they're down. You just brought up, you just said Andy Dalton was your boy, so I was another boy I knew was Jimmy G, so I wanted to know who you thought was better. I mean, you should be. There's no way they punted this game against the 2-3 Falcons that are you need to win that game.
But I mean, I thought so. The week before, all the guys that were questionable ended up playing against Carolina, and then this week, if you look at the injury report, all the guys that were questionable, like Bosa, ended up sitting. That's the only reason I thought it. And so on Wednesday, even though I saw they had a worrisome injury report, I said, well, they did that last week too. They're just holding these guys out of practice. They'll be out there on Sunday, and that didn't happen. That was my reason for saying that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, another thing, so Jimmy G is your guy. How are you dropping back with him 41 times? You have to run the football. I mean, that is literally what Shanahan wants to do as well. How do you have 7 touches for Jeffrey Wilson, 2 carries for Debo, 4 for Tevin Coleman, and you ran the ball less than 15 times. You didn't run it very well either, but get Debo the football. I mean, he's got to touch the ball more than 9 times. Kittle looked fine. A lot of the last drive, he got a lot of his stuff. Ayuk looked fine. I mean, you can't lose this game spread. Jimmy G can't lose this game. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. And we'll talk about some other teams. The only thing I would say is that no one in the NFC is really planting their flag as the best team in this conference here. So I still think the 49ers got a great chance, as crazy as it sounds.
What do you mean no team in the NFC is planting their flag as the best team? We got a team sitting at 6-0.
Yeah, but I could pick apart that performance as well. And we're going to a little later.
The second half where they just kind of just put it on
every second half, the whole season?
When they needed to score late, didn't they score?
Yeah.
Last time I thought Tyler was anti-Eagles a little bit. Now he's come around.
No, you're right. They're going to be at home, but it's a vulnerable team. Like, for example, who do you think's got a better chance of getting upset, the Eagles or the Bills?
I mean, we've watched Josh Allen piss down his leg a lot.
We'll have to. I mean, the easier path is definitely the Eagles. The Bills are the AFC is going to be tough.
Yeah, the upset it definitely comes out of the AFC more than the NFC.
As of now,
they could stumble their way through games against Tampa Bay and Green Bay to where Buffalo does that against Kansas City. Good luck.
If Dak played, do you think the Eagles even win that game last night?
Yes, because those interceptions are still there.
we got to see what Dak. The short sample that we have on them this year, they look so bad. But
all right, well, we're bouncing around. That's enough of the Niners and the Falcons.
Tyler didn't talk about it.
Did you have anything you want to say about that other than I'm completely wrong?
No, I didn't have much. It was like the trap game of the week. When I heard Big T bring it up and he said everyone's on San Francisco and the numbers going the other way, it's like, yeah. Probably the big trap week of the game. My buddy texted me, asked me what the bet, and I said I'm not touching it after hearing that.
I should have waited. I loved it on Friday, and I hated it on Sunday morning.
Yeah, that's why I waited personally. I didn't do anything till Sunday morning, and I just stayed away from it.
Red, when that happens, do you ever try and like look for like plus money for a live bet spot quick, like for the Falcons, just so you don't have to?
Yeah, but where was it?
Because
they jumped out 14-0.
I'm not even sure at 14-14 you could have got in at a good number.
But do you do that when you know, like, dang, I don't feel good?
I'll be honest, not as much on NFL because I don't feel like I'm as sharp on the NFL as NBA.
I just meant like you kind of wanted to get
more.
You kind of wanted to get your money back and just say, I wish I never bet this. Let me get some plus money so I don't really have to sweat it too much. Was my thought.
I would try that, but I don't know. At 14-0, I thought maybe there was a chance. Oh, these guys just woke up late or whatever. But no, then I just kind of took the L. I had other good stuff going in the morning. Like, for example, I had the Jaguars in the teaser that we talked about, Tyler, but they couldn't get the win. So disappointing for us on the other prop that you gave out there, where it's to get the win, and a team that we were so high on in week 3 doesn't look good. It's kind of looking like, I don't know what to make. I mean, I think Trevor's still going to be good, but I'm worried that he's not going to ever become that top 5 guy that we had hoped when he got drafted here. What were your takeaways from the Jaguars and the Colts besides being pissed that we couldn't cash the bet?
Yeah, I mean, the run game needs to come back to life. There's nothing really much there. They also need another guy across from Christian Kirk because they kind of figured out that he's the only guy there. These other guys aren't all that good, so you just double team him, and he can't beat the double team. So it's like he wasn't really all that targeted. He got in the end zone late, but then their offense can't really do much. The defense got tired, and the Colts just pitter-pattered their way down the field and ended up winning the game late on that Hail Mary touchdown. So,
I mean, our whole idea was that they would get pressure, and they didn't.
Yeah, that was the
and that's what they lost.
Get to him. He dropped back 51 times. I don't think he was sacked once.
Yeah. So disappointing performance from the Jaguars. The Colts, they are what they are. They're going to be a tough team. I think we have them rated right. The Jaguars, I'm kind of lost on. What do you think, Title?
Just so, I mean, when you lose a game by a touchdown, I always go back to the Ryan Clark and Big T. Yeah. I think it's Ryan Harris or Clark. I don't know. But when it's up to the coaches. I've said it since week 1. You got to get Travis Etienne the football. When he touched the ball, I mean, 10 carries for 86 yards, 20 carries. Like, get him the football. Only 2 catches for 22 yards. They're talking, Tyler was saying, like, you need someone else than Christian Kirk. Line him up in the slot, put him in different, use him differently, get him the football, have him touch it, and it just changes everything for your offense. Trevor Lawrence, 20 for 22, 165 yards and a touchdown? Let your quarterback go win a football game. 20 for 22, like, what more do you want him to do? I mean, it just really seems like very poor coaching there for the Jaguars and how you lose that game. And then Matt Ryan, I mean, what is this, 25 years ago? 42 for 58, 389 yards and 3 touchdowns? Like, get some pressure. The guy can't move. Like, design something. This seems like just an awfully coached game, and that's how you lost it. I will say, Deion Jackson, he looked really good to me when Nyheim Hines went out in that first possession or whatever in the Thursday night game. Then because we had all this all this value running back this week for DFS, he got completely forgotten. I didn't get to him in tournaments, and I was definitely debating him because he looked really good for the eye test. But man, I mean, 10 catches, 79 yards, 12 for 42, touchdown on the ground. Like, he looked really good to me as well. So I doubt we get him again. I assume Hines or JT, who are questionable, one of them will play going forward. But man, what a week for him as well. Matt Ryan. If you stack the Colts, you got the job done. Pittman, Jackson, and Matt Ryan, and that's something I'll never do. So it's coaching for Jackson.
Yeah, I know. The Colts stack beat our Seahawks stack. All right,
that game.
Yeah.
No one's stacking that game.
Yeah. So disappointing there for me as someone who's kind of adopted the Jacksonville Jaguars as a team that I'd like to root for. We'll see if they can bounce back. And Tyler, we'll talk more about what we're going to do with this team when we're doing the power rankings. The Vikings improved to 5-1 quietly. 5-1 team. I don't know why nobody believes in this team. Well, I do know. It's the quarterback. But they get another win. They win in Miami in the heat, something that Buffalo couldn't do. To be fair, it wasn't as hot, and they were playing different against different quarterbacks. Once again, Miami's cursed in the quarterback situation. They lose. Who was our guy? Skylar Thompson. They lose Skylar Thompson earlier Teddy Bridgewater comes in. I thought that might be a help for the team. Still, the offense did look kind of stagnant against the Minnesota defense that we don't rank that highly. Let's give Cousins credit. Jefferson, great game for him. This team could win with offense, right? They're kind of like the old Houston Rockets. They're just going to outscore you. You can't. It's so funny that Minnesota's 5-1 and nobody's talking about them. Why do you think that is, Title?
Kirk Cousins, like you said. But at the end of the day, I mean, the Packers, we'll get to them. I mean, this ain't the same Packers team that it has been the past decade that just takes the division almost every time. The Lions in the division, the Bears there, like NFC struggling. You get home field advantage in the playoffs. You squeak by a bye. I mean, you can do anything, I think, with the NFC. So yeah, I mean, 5-1, they keep getting the job done. My question is for the Dolphins. The reason Skylar Thompson started over Bridgewater was because of the concussion and the health concerns, right? Then he was the emergency backup, planning on that they wouldn't have to use him, and then he plays. So, like, if he could play, McDaniel, he wanted Bridgewater over Skylar Thompson. So, like, anyone got insight on that? I was really confused.
I think they're just still in shambles from the whole Tua thing, and they're just walking on eggshells, and they just don't know what to do at that quarterback spot when a guy goes down.
Yeah. I think they're letting other people make their decisions, right? They're letting the media influence them.
Yeah, they're stuck between a rock and a hard place right now with that spot.
I mean, it was just so, like, the guy goes down. You wanted Bridgewater to start. You didn't start him because of everything going on, and then he drops back almost 40 times. Like, he took a big shot, one of those too. So that just made no sense to me. But why is he sued? Why is he in an emergency bat? Why can he play if he can't play? Because he would start if he can. It was just all confusing me. But good win for the Vikings. Tyreek and Waddle, they got the job done in DFS.
Tyler, we're not going to downgrade this team at all, though, right? When we're talking about these numbers tomorrow, because they get Tua back, and it's just a weird situation.
No, that's who the offense is built for. I mean, I know Teddy's pretty much the same guy, but when you're playing that game of you're in, you're out. Now Skylar Thompson's in, now he's out, now you're back in. It's like musical chairs at that spot. These wide receivers can't get accustomed to a quarterback. Mind you, Hill and Waddle did their thing for $177 and $125.
Well, Waddle had a rough fumble.
Yeah, Waddle had a rough fumble. They threw the pick that ended up in the end zone. So it's like, I don't take much from it. The last couple, they had this last year too, when Tua went out with broken ribs. I think they lost 4 in a row. I think you took all 4 of them losses and you kind of just threw them in the trash once he came back. These 2 right here after their concussion, I'm not taking much of it. When he's back on Sunday against Pittsburgh, that's when we'll evaluate this team more.
Oh, can't wait to talk about that game. But first, let's talk about the Patriots and the Browns. I felt like we nailed this one in the playbook, Tyler, and in our preview with Kurt on Friday. We said this Browns team's having problems tackling.
I don't mean to cut you off, Fred, but just to touch back on that Vikings tape where you're like, no one's believing in this team.
Yeah.
Look around the NFC. Every other quote unquote contender or team that's going to be in the playoffs, what do they all have? Tampa Bay, Philly, Dallas, pass rush. What can't Kirk deal with? Pass rush. They're just going to make his life a living hell at the moment the playoffs start, and it's a game over, game 1. So that's why nobody believes in that team.
And also, you're not going to get all those games at the time that he loves.
No, it's 4 o'clock, 8 p.m. It's over once that happens.
Yeah. So we're going to be quick on this next game, though, Tyler, because we'll just pat ourselves on the back. We absolutely nailed this game. It was nice to get one so right. The Patriots beat the Browns. We're going to continue to upgrade this Patriots team as Bill Belichick, showing that coaching is more than play calling. It's all about developing players, and these guys just seem to get better week in and week out. Congrats to the Patriots. What do we do with the Browns? Do we downgrade them? What do we do with this team, Tyler?
And maybe downgrade them a little bit, but I think the big story here is Bailey Zappe's going to end up taking Mac Jones' job. And I remember talking about that in previous shows, and a lot of guys didn't know who that name was. And he's a complete 180 for Mac Jones. He actually gunslings the ball, and you see that passing offense is starting to open up New England, letting Stevenson get to run the ball more and more effectively. Once Harris is back and they have the 2-headed monster back there, the offense is just going to get better. So it's going to be his job to lose once Mac Jones gets healthy, I think.
All right. Mac Jones could be the newest Drew Bledsoe / Wally Pipp. Tyler, what are your thoughts there on the Browns? What do we do with this team? Do we just keep downgrading and they can't tackle?
Yeah, man, I don't think they're very good. Chubb, 12 for 56. Kareem Hunt, 4 for 12. If Jacoby Brissett's dropping back 45 times, you're in trouble for sure. So Don't think the team's great. The game script has to go well. Defense has to get stops. Chubb has to run the football well, bleed the clock. Playing from behind, this team just set up for disaster. So I don't think highly of them. As far as the Patriots, I was going to ask, is it Zappy's world now? Is Mac Jones, that injury going to cost him? Is Zappy just going to take it over? Tyler answered that question. Ramondre Stevenson, I missed his prop at like 2 or something. That was a little hurtful, but good win for the Patriots.
All right, let's talk about your team title. I got to give the Jets credit. They beat a Packers team who's traditionally done very well off losses, and they went into Lambeau. The Giants got the win at home. That's a little different winning in one of the toughest environments to play in the National Football League. It's time to start giving this Jets team credit. We're going to give them the credit unless Tyler says not to during his segment. But start with you and talk about your team. Packers, what's going on, man? I mean, what's going on with this team? They should have won this game. You have to be concerned here.
Yeah, I mean, Rodgers probably wishes he retires right now. I think this probably is his last year. I don't think he thought it was going to be as rough without Devontae. Both of them. I don't think Devontae thought it was going to be as rough for him. Rodgers was going to be as rough for him. I mean, man, it couldn't establish the run. His guys out wide just don't really win one-on-ones as much, and Rodgers just hasn't been as sharp as he has been in the past at the end of the day. And we talk about it a lot or you guys have talked about a lot on this show. We've talked about with the Packers. They can't stop the run. They have a good pass rush. They have a solid secondary. They can't stop the run. And Breece Hall goes 20 for 116. I mean, Zach Wilson drops back 18 times. He's 10 for 18 with 110 yards passing. And you lose this game by 17 points. There's no answers to that. So, I mean, how are you not concerned in Green Bay right now? You have Aaron Rodgers. That's the only thing that keeps me a little fine. But, man, he doesn't have the receivers to win one-on-ones. He can't stop the run. Can't win this. You can't lose this one in Lambeau. If it was in New York, the Meadowlands, I'd feel a little better. Meadowlands, MetLife, which one is it? Meadowlands?
I think it's MetLife in Meadowlands. So.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. It's no longer in the Meadowlands. The Meadowlands was the New Jersey Stadium, right? I don't even know.
But you guys.
Someone from New York in the chat, let us know.
Both of those came to my head, but I wasn't exactly sure. If Packers lost on the road, it would feel a little better. Losing that one at Lambeau is touchdown favorites by 17, though. Yeah, I'm concerned.
All right, Tyler, are you going to channel your inner death row here? Fuck New York still?
No, not this team.
Or are you going to give these guys your prop?
I'll give them a little bit of credit because you look at their roster, they actually got some good players on it. Like, the coach is pretty good. The coach also has a history of playing Rodgers very well, which we didn't touch on last week, which we should have. He had the number on him. And you just look at the builds of these two teams. The Jets had 2 good corners versus a team that they could stuff the box on, who could only run the ball. Rodgers wasn't going to be able to throw to these receivers. He almost threw a pick 6 that was, if the nose of the ball didn't touch the ground, Sauce Gardner was in the end zone with it. So that would have been another score for that defense on top of the block punt. And I mean, Zach Wilson isn't the best quarterback, but when you can run the ball like that with Breece Hall, this team's going to be tough to beat. And the defensive line's also stout too. So if I had to pick one of these New York teams, Fred, I'm picking this one. They're the better one.
Interesting. All right. Tyler's taking the Jets over the Giants. Do they play this year? I hope they do. We got Giants.
I'm not sure. I'll look it for now.
Hey, Tyler, how bad is it, though, that we gave the Jets a loss in almost every single game?
We had the Jets losing every game until like week 12. Where they have 3 wins or 4 wins.
Yeah.
They don't play each other.
Yeah, okay. The Jets are now 4-2. We'll have to see who's the best team in New York. A different season. We already talked about the Niners. This is the spot that I've been waiting for, guys, though, right? Had to take my lumps on Jimmy G. But what a day to be a Tomlin truther. Woohoo! Got the win. Not just covering the spread. Hey, you thought they might have a good chance to cover the spread, right? That number was a little out of control. But to actually get the win straight up, oh my gosh, Tom Brady not feeling good and really exposed a lot. Although, to be honest, Tyler, though, we're not going to bring the Steelers up in our power rankings, right? Because this is just one of those deals. They're coming off like the worst performance of any team this season. We know Tomlin's going to pull this out 2 or 3 times a year, but it's unsustainable to have your guys just be, that dialed in constantly. So I'm fine keeping the Steelers where they are, but I think we have to downgrade the Bucs a little. And boy, that Mike Tomlin fathead gets to stay on the wall. What do you think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, downgrade the Bucs a bit, and congrats to the Steelers on screwing up your draft position, winning a game. Like, I don't get what you get out of that.
Well, it's because Thomas just got too much pride. Title, what were your thoughts there? How much should we downgrade this Buccaneers team?
Yeah, I don't love this Buccaneer team. I mean, it's still though what they got.
Does
Tom
it
Brady.
They Cincinnati though. If they get that line healthy, don't you think it just fix all their problems?
Well, I feel better with Tampa too because in the NFC as well. Like it's still too early to write off this team for sure, but
yeah, especially in that NFC.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but man, the Steelers depleted defense and Tom Brady can only do that. Like I did not see that coming at all. I really liked this offense this week. Tom Brady, Evans, Godwin. I mean, very, very big letdown. Trubisky, is he back? Is Trubisky back? What's going on?
No, they knocked Pickett's head off.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, Trubisky played well. He came in the game.
So Pickett's got more potential, but like, let's say you're just watching that game. Does it really feel like it's that much of a downgrade at this point? Yeah, I just think the reason everyone says let's go with Pickett is because Pickett does have the potential to get better.
Because the unknown and the ceiling is at least right for sure. But I mean, Trubisky played well, is why I said that.
So yeah, he did well. They got it done. So that was so much fun for me, right? This might be one of my last chances to take a Tomlin victory lap, though, right, Tyler? Where it just felt like everything went right. It was the confluence of the stars. But hey, you got to take them when you get them. Steelers improved to 2-4. Let's go into the afternoon game, the game that I stacked in DFS. Title, yawn. And I'm not talking about the Bills and the Chiefs. I'm talking about the Cardinals and the Seahawks. What the heck was going on over there? Talk about, just so much Kyler slander. It's almost getting annoying. Because it's just, we were down on him to start the year. We're down on him during the year, and it just keeps coming true. This is a team that gave up 39 to that guy, the Cajun Carrot that we just talked about, and no wide receivers. Now you can't put up any points against the Seahawks defense. Come on, Arizona. And I think that he's going to get a great boost next week. I think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to help this man so much. But, boy, another disappointing performance from the Cardinals. He got more
help incoming, too.
Well, he's also hurt.
He loses a guy, but they traded for a guy right before we started the show.
Yeah. They did? I missed
Hollywood NBA numbers. Robbie and
oh, really? I didn't know that. I was doing the NBA model. Okay.
Hollywood probably done for the year. Big bump down there. Get Hopkins back though, and you get Robbie. So
that's a downgrade. I don't even like Hollywood, and I'll say that's a downgrade.
Title teaser to Thursday. Rondell Moore captain spot.
I was gonna say. I mean, man, I needed one more catch.
They're not going to give Robbie Anderson many snaps, and how much work does Hopkins get in his first week back on a short week?
I feel like he's going to get a lot of the work. I especially with Hollywood out. I think D-Hop's going to get. Don't you think? I mean, he knows the playbook.
He wasn't out with injury either.
Yeah,
it's not.
Maybe.
I think he gets.
I think it's a Moore game. I think Moore just torches that Saints defense.
No, I played a lot of Rondell yesterday, and it was disappointing. I mean, went to the Seahawks side. I played Lockett was mega chalk on DK. Had some Metcalf as well. Like anytime I looked up, Noah Fant was the one that was getting every target, which was so annoying. Thankfully, I didn't stack this.
The whole game was annoying, and I stacked it. I upped my projections on all these guys. The only one that really came through was Kenneth Walker because he was at the lower price point, but he didn't break the slate or make up for the other stuff.
Yeah,
I had Kyler in I don't even want to say how many of the 20 lineups Kyler.
Well, Kyler didn't kill you because he got the 100 on the ground, so he got the bonus there. I mean, there it's 13. So. But if you're stacked, which we do, I mean,
you're competing with some of those other performances. It just wasn't enough,
I mean, it was a discipline. I mean, second highest total on the slate. The afternoon games 51. Geno was playing so well. Geno still looked decent, but Geno, his yards per throw was the highest in the NFL. Everything set up for that game, and it was just a dud. That's DFS for you, though.
Tyler, anything more on that game other than that we thought that it was going to be a real fun shootout and it was boring?
No, just the defenses showed up when the offenses were supposed to. I mean, Geno sacked 5 times, Kyler sacked 6 times, and the Cardinals with no run game. I mean, Kyler leading their way. These backup running backs, Benjamin 37 yards, Keontae Ingram 7. That ain't gonna cut it. So it's
is Kyler gonna get better with a better coach? Because Kingsbury sucks.
I mean, You can't get worse for how
you
we're
can't
judging,
get much worse
for how we're judging them. I mean, with D-Hop, I have a little.
Yeah,
he's a better DFS player.
They could still, if they were a team that snuck into like that last wild card spot by the end of the year, it wouldn't surprise me.
The Cardinals?
Yes.
Because of you're bringing hot takes today.
Because of that division.
I was ready to just look at the
division. Look at the NFC. They string together 5 wins in a row. All of a sudden, they're right back in it.
Great point. Great point. Let's talk about the other boring game in the afternoon: the Panthers and the Rams. My other buddy, we don't do every game on my other show. And I asked my buddy, why did we even put this game on there? Rams get the win. Panthers still suck. Robbie Anderson got kicked off. I guess that's something to talk about, but now he's traded. Okay, that little drama's over. Rams still can't block. That guy, Note Bloom, who wasn't even good to begin with, got hurt. So that's not good for this team. Cam Akers, it came out that he's probably never going to come back. Maybe they tried to work on a trade during the game. I'd like to see McCaffrey in a McVay offense, but overall, pretty boring. Rams cover. Good for them to get it done. Carolina is absolutely terrible. What else do we say about this one, Tyler?
They lost another offensive lineman. Their left tackle's out for the year with a ruptured Achilles.
No Bloom. Yeah.
So good luck, Stafford. You're running for your life even more. The other thing that it just caught my eye when I seen it, you pull up the box score for this game. They let 2, 4, 6, 8 guys run the ball against Carolina. So they're trying different things with this offense. I will say that, outside of just throwing it to Kupp and Higbee, which is a good sign, but I don't think running the ball with 8 guys is going to stick. So you got to find something up there. You got to make some trades. You got to get some offensive line depth. They're not doing anything this year, like championship-wise, but they could still sneak in the playoffs.
All right. Title, anything else before we talk about the main event from yesterday? Rams, Panthers, anything?
CMC, even with literally no quarterback back there, the worst coach, everything, CMC still getting the job done. That just shows how good.
Who's worse? Who's worse, Wilkes or Kingsbury?
I don't know. Cool. You guys know the coaches more than I do. I just know they're both donkeys.
Well, Wilkes used to be the coach, and I think
I'll say him because Kingsbury just goes for it, which I like.
think Kingsbury replaced Wilkes, if I remember right, but I could be missing a guy in there. Yeah, that game sucked. Let's talk about the game that was exciting, the game that we all wanted to see, the game that did not go over. Wasn't surprised about that, Tyler. Remember I said our numbers came to it, but I just didn't want the stress of betting that over. But it turned out to be an exciting football game. I was glued to the TV. I thought that Mahomes had a great chance there at the end, and now you saw the importance of making the addition of Von Miller, as his ability to get the pressure on that last play coincided with his cornerback having time to go ahead and jump that route. Boy, we talked about Devontae and Aaron Rodgers maybe wishing they didn't break up, right? Maybe that wasn't the best breakup. They should not have let Tyreek Hill go. The offense doesn't have the same punch. The Bills got better. To me, the Chiefs, you could argue they got worse. They should have found a way to pay him. What do you think for this team, man? Great win for Buffalo. In my mind, barring injury, it means the AFC Championship is going to go through Buffalo. A little bit different there than having to head to Kansas City. Of course, anything can happen. This is the National Football League. But what a great win to put them in position, because even if they finish with the best record, the same record now, Buffalo has the tiebreaker. What were your thoughts on the main event, Title? What'd you think, man?
Good football game. I mean, these two teams are going to be there when it's all said and done. The home field, it's a big win. Mahomes played fine. Josh Allen played fine. They're definitely missing Tyreek. There's no doubt about that. Juju finally had a good game. Kelsey there, Diggs on the other side. It was just a good, hard-fought. Every single play, it had the playoff atmosphere. Every single play you could tell mattered, and that's not the case with NFL game, a lot of NFL games in week 6. So I enjoyed
like the Rams Panthers.
Yeah, exactly. Like watching that game and watching this game.
I know.
It's just crazy that the atmospheres, everything's different. Playoff baseball. You watch a regular season game to playoff baseball, it seems like two different games, which exactly how this felt. It's two different sports pretty much. So yeah, great football game. Big Josh Allen guy, big Bills guy. I thought they were going to win. It was a very close game. I mean, the Chiefs could have easily won that football game as well. And I think when they play each other again, I see very similar things. Two very, very talented, well-coached football teams that play all three special teams, offense, defense, at a high level, and this was a great game to watch, I thought. And Vegas absolutely made a lot of money. They needed the under more than anything. Of course, I mean, that's how pure Vegas runs.
What do you think, Tyler? Am I making too much of just one game?
I think a little bit. That KC defense was pretty beat up, and if they're going to hold him to 24 points, if they go into that playoff game healthy, I'm going right back to the Chiefs. Because, yeah, Josh Allen's good. He's got the weapons, but he wasn't the best quarterback on the field, I don't think. Mahomes can still get the job done with whoever you put out there. So it's like, yeah, he threw the late pick, but their defense being banged up, I think, helped out the Buffalo a little bit. And if they get a tougher game, also Buffalo is able to run the ball more effectively than Kansas City in this game. And that was the only thing you could really decipher from the box scores here that was different. Everything else kind of matches up. They had receivers go off on both sides. Both the quarterbacks did their thing. One team was just able to run the ball. The other one wasn't. So, and I think that defense being banged up helped them a lot. So give me Kansas City when they rematch in the playoffs.
All right. Tyler's not going to overreact. Thank you for talking me off the ledge. And we already touched on this a little bit, Tyler. I wasn't that impressed with the Eagles last night. Once again, they don't do anything at halftime. Their second half is just absolutely terrible. I don't think they're going to get away with that in the playoffs. I mean, you're going against a second-string quarterback. You get 3 interceptions, and you almost didn't cover because of a 59-yard field goal. We talked about Baltimore needing to be ahead, right, and not being able to come from behind. Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, maybe some similarities there. I know that they run in a different fashion, but their ability to move the football with their legs is what makes them so important. And we saw when they did need that drive towards the end to kind of shut them down, they went straight to giving Jalen Hurts like half the carries. Like, let's get this guy involved. So give him credit there. But you can see why I have concerns for this Eagles teams. And I don't necessarily think that they're a shoo-in here to win the NFC. I mean, this is one of their toughest tests. And I don't know if I necessarily – obviously they passed, but I'm not giving them an A. I don't even know if I'm giving them a B. I might give them a C plus, B minus. What did you think of the Eagles, and why do you think that I'm overreacting to this second half?
Go ahead, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler.
Yeah, I wasn't sure you'd say the name at the end, but I think you're overreacting because they dealt with injuries in that second half. C.J. Gardner-Johnson, the guy who got 2 interceptions, had to go out in the second half, so they were able to move the ball through the air a bit better. They were able to run the ball on them in the second half also. And Jalen Hurts was banged up in that game. You could tell. Like, something was wrong. He couldn't run very well. He only ran the ball for 9 for 27 yards. And those majority of the carries on that last drive went to Sanders. The only ones that went to Hurts,
but on third down,
he was the quarterback sneaks on third one when they ran the rugby schemes.
And it was a 3rd and 4 he got.
You sure? Because I don't remember him running the 3rd and 4s late. It was all Sanders or Gainwell.
Someone in the chat, tell me if I'm remembering wrong. I swore that he had a couple big runs there to keep that drive alive.
Yeah, and then the thing about them the most is you say, like, you're worried about them playing from behind and not being able to throw the ball. But, I mean, late in that game when they knew they needed to score on that drive, they didn't need to throw it. They just ran the ball all the way down the field and just punted it in. So it's like that's all you had to do in the end. If you can run the ball like that behind this offensive line, the play action throws will come with this offense, and Hurts will find A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith in the end. This team's going to be fine. They're the best team in the NFC until somebody proves them wrong.
All right. Tyler's an Eagles believer. I'm an Eagles skeptic. Which side of the fence are you landing on, Title?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer, and mainly because to do with it's not the same Rodgers and Packers team. It's not the same Bucks or Brady and Bucks team. They just don't really have too much competition. And Hurts is still 24 years old. The guy's still going to get better. A.J. Brown, such a big addition. You got Devontae Smith. Miles Sanders looks good. They find mixing in Scott and Gainwell. It's a lot easier to be a running back when you have a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, like Lamar, because the read option, the DN cannot crash. You always have the one guy, a spy. Someone has to focus on the quarterback. It's one less person in the box that matters. It's the Eagles team. I mean, they play solid defense. I think they lost Lane Johnson in that game as well. I mean, they just could not. The second half was a completely different story. Pressure was in Jalen Hurts' face. But when they needed to respond with the big drive, they did respond with the big drive. And I like Jalen Hurts. I liked him when a lot of people didn't as well. So I'm definitely going to still be a believer and trust this team. I think they're well coached as well. So, yeah, I like the Eagles.
All right. You like the Eagles. You're on that side of the fence. Let's move in. Hey, perfect timing. We got about 15 minutes to break this down. We used to do the full showdown breakdown, but those guys are doing such an excellent job, and that show starts as soon as we end. So we're getting some quicker thoughts for Title tonight on how to approach the showdown. But if I remember right, you absolutely nailed the captain spot on this show last week. Why don't you talk about that real quick? And then, of course, go to who we're looking at when we're choosing the captain for tonight.
Yeah, I think last week the gave out 3 core plays. I always listen to how you guys think the script is. Well, Tyler mentioned Scantling, who I also like, so we threw him in the core, threw Kelsey in the core, and Mahomes. I think all 3 of them were in the optimal lineup. I believe Mahomes was in the optimal in the flex, but it was a good week last week. Yeah, make sure to watch the show that these guys do breaking down Showdown. I have not looked very much coming into the show as always, but that's how I like doing it. What stands out right away? You get Chargers as 4-point favorites. I assume 4-2 Chargers, maybe even 5-1 Chargers, something like that will be the chalk. I'm just going to go and plug in at the captain spot, Courtland Sutton. Clearly wide receiver 1 for Denver. People like playing the favorites in the captain spot. Right away, you get different going that way. I mean, Sutton has all the upside in the world. That's all Russ does is stare down Courtland Sutton. If they're down 14, if they're down 21, whatever, Sutton will be touching the ball. So I like going him at the captain spot right there. Then I'm going to go Russell Wilson because I do like pairing my captain wide receiver with the quarterback. If you expect Sutton to be the highest scoring player in the slate, 2 touchdowns, Russell Wilson's throwing those 2 touchdowns or something. Don't think many people will play Russell Wilson at all, so you get a contrarian start there. And then I'll say Austin Eckler. I really like Austin Eckler in the spot. I think the Chargers should be leading. You have a nice game script there. Broncos playing from behind. Chargers leading. You get the running game going with Eckler. Broncos coming from behind. I think Russ will be low owned. I think Sutton's definitely going to get ownership, but captain ownership will be a lot less owned than the flex. Then you got 3 spots that you got to fill out. I totally fine mixing in a defense, mixing in a kicker in there. They perform very well. There's some cheap options. So yeah, that's my initial thoughts for Showdown.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you'll do as well as you did last week. Your captain last week had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, on 6 catches or 7 catches.
Even if we get halfway there, we'll be happy. So that's a great way to begin your build. Reminder, in 13 minutes, those guys will be going live here on this Run Pure Sports, YouTube channel. Guys, if you're not, subscribe to the channel already and give us that thumbs up. We've been breaking down these games, having a lot of fun with you guys. Let everybody know that this is the place to be when it comes to talking touchdowns. So give us a thumbs up. And, of course, head on over to runpuresports.com if you're not already a member. And they're also going to be able to find not just the DFS information, right, Tyler, but our betting information as well. You've broken down the game for Run Pure members in the playbook. Why don't you give them a couple tidbits of what you're looking for tonight in that game? I know that when we discussed this game, we had some problems because the numbers said to take Denver. Do we want to take Denver?
I'm leaning towards taking Denver the more I look at it.
Yeah, the numbers told us, and we were a little hesitant, right?
Yeah, early in the week, yeah, but now I like Denver. Like, you look at who the Chargers played. They played the Raiders, the Chiefs, the Jags, the Texans, and the Browns. Not one defense that was able to stop them. This defense could easily stop them. They've also been one of those slower offenses that they get down the field, and they either got to settle for field goals or they turn the ball over. We just talked about the Giants and how everything's going their way. It's the complete opposite for this Denver team, and it's eventually going to flip to where these field goals and turnovers are turning into touchdowns. And I think this is a spot where it does. They're also going to be able to run the ball on this Chargers team who can't stop the run whatsoever. Give me the Broncos here to pick up the win. I think they win this game pretty handily.
You think you were taking a money line?
Yes.
Well, that's what we're here. Tyler, you came with some hot takes today. I love it. I love it, Tyler. You are on fire. All right, from the props perspective, you don't have to give them all out, right? Save some for the members, but 1 or 2 that you circled that we discussed in the playbook that you'd like to give to the people watching the show right now.
I like that Sutton touchdown. I also like his over on yards at 68.5. And then if you were going to target one of the Chargers receivers, I'd go Josh Palmer. I don't see props listed for him yet, but I'd try and get on his over receiving yards.
Why are they so late on those?
I have no idea.
Yeah. All right. That's disappointing. So, yeah, this was a tough game for me to handicap. Denver's disappointed me so many times this year. You know, it's funny. I wasn't low on him. Tyler was a little higher on than me, but we both thought this team was going to be pretty good. Arguably the biggest disappointment in the NFL so far. Maybe just because most people had them rated higher than the Raiders, who are now in sole possession of last place in the AFC with that Steelers win. All right, maybe we'll get that quarterback that you guys wanted there in Pittsburgh here. But I don't even want to say it should be a fun one tonight because Broncos games haven't been fun. What do you guys think? Are we finally going to watch an enjoyable Denver Broncos football game tonight, or are we going to get another dud? The total is – oh, hold on. I had baseball up. Why did I have baseball up? Why am I think
you get a dud. I think it's going to be a defensive
45
game.
Is the total. Do you think that goes under again for Denver, Tyler?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a defensive game. They get to lean on the run game a bit. I think Denver scores around 24. It'd be like 24-17, somewhere in there.
24. You think they get 17? All right. Title, if you were to guess, this game goes over or under 45. I know that you don't do totals normally, but you've watched a bunch of these Denver games that are on prime time. We've all endured them. And it just shows how sick we are as a nation that we put ourselves through these things, right? I mean, I can't believe people in like England and France are probably looking at us like this is what they watch. But regardless, do you think this total is going to go over or under the 45 that's sitting at right now?
Well, it's 45.5 on DraftKings. Price shopping is always important. I lean the under. Okay. I mean, but I feel like that's the side everyone's on. So sometimes when it feels that easy, I just like going the other side. Man, if you bet a over for the Denver primetime games right now, though, it's not comfortable. Just like last week, though, wasn't comfortable if you were on the Raiders against
Plus
the Chiefs.
7. Yeah,
exactly. And they got the job done. So yeah, I won't be betting it though. I lean the under. And yeah, I mean, you said people overseas in Europe and all that wonder why we go through this stuff. Hey, when you have money on anything, it's very easy to go through it. So that's my approach on it.
Yeah, well, I watched Thursday night too. What is wrong with me? All right. That is it for us today. Give you a couple minutes to get ready. Grab a snack. If you're real efficient, hit the workbench before the next show starts at 3 p.m. Eastern here. Tito, do you have any words of wisdom before the people before we sign off?
NBA's back, baby. Tomorrow, NBA back. Cannot wait. You guys going to be doing rundown. You guys talk hoops all the time. I'll be on the shows a lot for over at the Run Pure Sports channel on the Hardwood Show. Best time.
Let them know. Are you on Hardwood tomorrow?
There's no, because it's only a 2-game slate, there's no Hardwood, I believe. But Wednesday, the first day, there is a Hardwood. I will be on the Wednesday show breaking down 12-game slate, I believe. I mean, there's basketball printer, NFL printer. There's Q4, Q1. That's where you make your money. Summers are more time to enjoy it. So I cannot wait for the NBA season. The Bucks to do it again. Hopefully Middleton's healthy. Took a year off. Bucks get it back.
He's going to miss the first 2 or 3 weeks.
I saw that. But, I mean, as long as playoff time, it comes. But, yeah, NBA is back. Awesome stuff. Great time.
If there's no Hardwood with title tomorrow, Tyler, I guess that means that me and you are going to have the market cornered when it comes out to giving out daily fantasy advice because, of course, NBA Rundown will be live same time as today, 2 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to bring on Travis Mangone. He's going to go ahead. Tyler and I are going to give our ideas on the betting the sides of the tomorrow night's games, the totals, and the player props. But Travis will be there as well to give you guys some information to start building some winning lineups and win some money on opening night. That's so funny. I personally like the 2-game slates better because everyone knows their strengths and weaknesses. My weakness is I cross out games too often, right?
You have to, though, in big slates. You have to.
But you don't have to. And so I just get to write a game script for 2 games. And it just seems to me like the builds just come to me easier. And it's not like, oh, I didn't want to play Tatum because I had some sort of reason I didn't want to play Tatum. And then he goes for 40 and they beat me there. So I love the 2-game slate tomorrow. I could not be more excited.
I always love the starts too. And what I like is DraftKings. They $5 they have their 150 max, their big tournament. Usually for NFL, everything starts of the season. It's usually $15-$20 for the big one. $5 tomorrow. So a bunch of more people have chances to do it. Use SaberSim. I'll be in there max entering it as well. I don't max enter most slates. It's always a good time. 2 people. It's a lot easier, like you said spread. I mean, to get the optimal lineup on a 2-game slate compared to the 8-game slate is night and day. So a lot less money. Get on SaberSim, have some fun with it. I can't wait to be building NBA lineups again tomorrow.
Before we get out of here, give us 2 teams from each side. Who's going to be there in the end?
For basketball?
Yep.
Well, the Bucks, definitely going with the Bucks. Let me pull up.
You give us one backup in the East too, and then 2 from the West.
All right. I got to get all the teams in front of me. You guys, you go for. Actually, no, I don't want to hear what.
In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Bucks will beat the Philadelphia 76ers. In the Western Conference Finals, the Warriors will beat the Denver Nuggets, and the Bucks will beat the Warriors.
I'm gonna say, give me the Clippers in the West.
Wow. Okay.
I'm gonna say people forgot about Kawhi.
We didn't forget. We just don't know if he can stay healthy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that answer as well, but I
mean, if we could turn off injuries, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go Clippers, and then
turn off injuries. I'm taking a different team.
Who are you taking?
The Pelicans.
Oh,
I like the Pelicans. I'm gonna say, man, I know Tyler loves the Nets. It's KD. I do love myself some KD, but a whole season with that. I'll say the Mavs in the West too. Say Clippers, Mavs, Bucks. I'm gonna go back to the Celtics. Man, I really thought the Celtics were tough. So I'll say Bucks, Celtics, and you wanted to back up in the East.
Well, that's your backup, the Celtics.
Yeah, I mean that's why I think play each other. So yeah, I'll go with that. But again, that's just off the top of my head. The Bucks. Man, Giannis, he just keeps getting better. I mean,
best player in the league, no doubt.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, there you have it, guys. Even threw in a little NBA there at the end. Guys, give us a thumbs up so we can keep bringing you guys talking touchdowns every single week here on the Run Pure Sports Network. Head on over to runpuresports.com. Get advantage of the core plays. Take advantage of the heat map. And, of course, use SaberSim to multi-enter like a pro. Then you, too, can run pure.